Dear students, today we are going to start a new lesson called Physical and Chemical Equilibrium. So in this lesson, first we see what are the changes available in the nature. First, physical change. So as we studied changes in the lower classes like physical change, chemical change, periodic change, non-periodic changes, desirable, undesirable. So many changes we already studied. So in this equilibrium lesson, we are going to see four important changes. First one, physical change, which represents physical transformation. So there is a transformation of a substance from one physical state into another physical state. For example, ice. The substance ice will be changed into liquid water. So the substance water is changed from one physical state into another physical state. So this is merely a physical transformation from solid state into liquid state. Then if we cool liquid water, we get ice. So physical transformation is called a physical change, and this is usually a reversible change, right? Next one, chemical change. So in most of the cases, chemical changes are permanent changes. So chemical change is nothing but a chemical reaction. For example, if we add an acid and base, hydrochloric acid is added with sodium hydroxide, we are getting sodium chloride with the liberation of water. So as you studied, this is a neutralization reaction. Acid combines with the base. By neutralization reaction, it provides salt and water. So we are getting sodium chloride. So single-headed arrow mark is given, which represents water. So this is an irreversible process. Right? So chemical reaction is nothing but a chemical change. In most of the cases, this is an irreversible process. So what is the basic difference between a physical and a chemical change? Physical change is just a physical transformation of a substance from one physical state into another physical state, mostly reversible process. Chemical changes are nothing but the chemical reactions. In most of the cases, it is an irreversible process. Right? Once sodium chloride formed, again we cannot get hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide. So this is a permanent change in most of the cases. A few exceptions are there. In chemical changes, few exceptions are there. Example, hydrogen gas combines with iodine gas. It produces hydrogen iodide, and the formed hydrogen iodide can decompose to produce hydrogen and iodine. So this is a chemical reaction, a chemical change. After the formation of product, it dissociates again to produce hydrogen and iodine. So two process, forward and a reverse process. So this is a reversible process. Okay, so both sides reaction will take place, forward side and backward side. So this is a reversible process. So these are some exception cases. So physical change is merely a physical transformation. Chemical change is nothing but a chemical reaction, mostly permanent in nature. In some cases, chemical reactions are reversible also. Example, formation of hydrogen iodide, or a dissociation of phosphorus pentachloride, or formation of ammonia. So we have reversible chemical changes also, right? So consider this physical transformation. A solid is changed into liquid. The process is called melting. Right? A solid melts to produce a liquid. Ice becomes liquid water. Then what is a reverse process? When we cool water, that means condensation process or freezing. So water molecules in liquid state are freezed to get solid water, ice. Okay. So this is a reversible process. Solid becomes liquid by melting, liquid becomes solid by freezing. Now, a rate of melting is representing what? A speed of forward reaction. How fast melting takes place. Next, what is the backward process? Freezing. Rate of freezing. Okay. Forward process is melting, backward process is freezing. So during this physical transformation, at one particular stage, the speed will be equal. The rate of melting and the rate of freezing will be equal. We call the situation as equilibrium. Okay. So what is equilibrium? The rate of forward and the rate of backward process will be equal. It's called equilibrium. So we have taken a physical transformation of a substance from solid into liquid. Then in the backward process, liquid becomes a solid. At one particular stage, rate of forward and reverse process will be equal. We call the condition as equilibrium. The same principle for chemical change also. So this is a physical change. For the physical change, we have represented a rate of melting is equal to rate of freezing. For chemical change also the same process. If you take a chemical change, hydrogen gas combines with iodine gas, it provides hydrogen iodide gas. This is a rate of forward reaction. Then backward reaction is so how fast forward and reverse reactions are taking place. So these two are considered. During the formation of hydrogen iodide, hydrogen iodide will also decompose to produce hydrogen and iodine. So rate of forward and rate of reverse reactions will be equal at a situation. We call it as equilibrium. Okay. So in the introduction part, we have to know what is a physical change, what is a chemical change. Physical change is a physical transformation and it is a reversible process. Chemical change is a chemical reaction, most of the cases irreversible, in some cases reversible also, right? If you consider reversible reaction, if you consider reversible process, there will be a forward as well as backward process. When you consider a reverse process, the transformation will take place in both sides, forward as well as backward side. Transformation or reaction will take place. So we consider a reversible process. In physical change, rate of melting will be equal to rate of freezing. We call the equilibrium as a physical equilibrium. If you take a chemical change, like this chemical reaction, rate of forward reaction to produce a hydrogen iodide, rate of reverse reaction to produce hydrogen and iodine will be equal at a state. We call this as equilibrium. So we have completed what is physical change, chemical change, physical equilibrium, chemical equilibrium, right? Now what is the role of equilibrium? What is the role of equilibrium? When we consider a reaction, for the reaction, three things are important. One is feasibility. Number two, rate. Number three, extent. So this is one more question. Okay. So for a chemical reaction, three things are very important. Feasibility of the reaction or a process, a rate of the process or a reaction, then extent of the reaction or a process. Feasibility means possibility, whether a reaction will take place or not. Will the reaction proceed or not? Right? So feasibility of a reaction predicts the possibility of the reaction. Will it take place or not? So this is obtained from thermodynamics data. So this is 7th lesson, okay. So from the thermodynamical data, we can predict the feasibility of a chemical reaction or a process. Then a rate is nothing but a speed, how fast the reaction is taking place. A rate of the reaction can be predicted using chemical kinetics data. So using the chemical kinetics data, we can predict the speed of a reaction. Extent of the reaction means how much product you will get, how much yield you will get. So our aim is to get 100% yield in a chemical reaction. So the reaction will take place to how much extent. So the extent of the reaction is predicted using the data obtained from equilibrium concept. So chemical equilibrium are simply the data obtained from the equilibrium is useful to find the extent of the reaction. Okay. So this is the role of equilibrium, which is used to find the extent of the reaction. Next, what is the nature of equilibrium? Consider the chemical reaction. Nitrogen gas combines with the hydrogen gas, it produces ammonia. Right? So in laboratory, I would like to prepare ammonia. So because ammonia is an important compound, this is used for preparing many nitrogen based compounds like fertilizers. So my aim is to prepare ammonia in the laboratory so that I am mixing two gases, nitrogen and hydrogen. I would like to get only ammonia. So during the formation of ammonia, the reaction becomes reversible reaction. I expect that the reaction will be an irreversible reaction. I am expecting only forward reaction. But during the formation of ammonia, the reaction becomes reversible one. When ammonia is forming, at the same time the formed ammonia is dissociating to produce nitrogen and hydrogen. So the reaction becomes reversible. Double-headed arrow mark indicates what? Reversible process. When we use single-headed arrow marker, this is an irreversible reaction. Two reactants are combining together to produce a product. When reaction starts, what about the concentration? When reaction starts, concentration of reactant 100%. When we take irreversible reaction, when reaction starts, when time t is equal to 0, concentration of reactant will be 100%. Okay. When time t is equal to 0. Then when time t is equal to 5 minutes, what happens? 10% of reactant will be converted into product. So before reaction starts, I have 100% reactant, 0% product in irreversible reaction. When time is a 5 minute, reaction started, 10% of reactant is converted into product. Okay. Then when time t is equal to 10 minutes, this is the concentration of reactant and the product. So when we consider irreversible process, when reaction starts, concentration of a reactant decreases, at the same time concentration of product increases. Slowly from 100, 99, 90 like that. Concentration of reactant gradually decreases, at the same time concentration of product increases during a chemical reaction. If it is irreversible reaction, this will be the procedure. So at last, what will be there at the end of the reaction? At the end of the reaction, I will not have reactants, I will have only product. So when reaction is completed, I will get only product. So this is the general procedure in a chemical reaction. We will take reactant, reactant will give you product. During the proceeding of the reaction, concentration of reactant decreases, at the same time concentration of product will increase. When it reaches 100%, reaction is over. This is for an irreversible reaction. If it is a reversible reaction means condition will be different. Reversible reaction means what? During the formation of a product, again the product is providing the reactant. Okay. The process is a reversible process. Reactants are joining together to produce a product. Again, product is providing the reactant. So the reaction is a reversible reaction. If the reaction is a reversible reaction, at one particular situation, equilibrium will be reached. Okay. So my aim is to prepare ammonia in the laboratory. I think that the reaction should be an irreversible reaction, so that I am mixing nitrogen and hydrogen. I am expecting the 100% product ammonia, but unfortunately the reaction becomes a reversible one and it reaches equilibrium. What is the equilibrium? Rate of forward reaction equal to rate of backward or reverse reaction. So I am expecting the reaction as an irreversible reaction, but unfortunately it becomes a reversible process, and one particular stage rate of forward reaction will be equal to the rate of reverse reaction. So the condition is called the equilibrium. This is a chemical reaction, so this is called the chemical equilibrium. If the change is a physical change, we call it as physical equilibrium. So equilibrium will be attained in a reversible process. At what condition? If rate of forward and reverse reactions are equal. Now once equilibrium is reached, is it possible to get product? No. I would like to get the product, but unfortunately it becomes reversible process and equilibrium is reached. Once equilibrium is reached, I cannot get the product because the rate of forward and rate of reverse reactions are equal. To produce ammonia, the time taken is 1 hour. Forward reaction rate is 1 hour. Ammonia is providing the nitrogen and hydrogen in the same time. So ammonia decomposition is also taking how much time? 1 hour. So rate of forward reaction 1 hour, rate of reverse reaction is also 1 hour. So I cannot get product in forward reaction. At the same time, I cannot get reactant in the reverse reaction also. Once equilibrium is reached, forward and reverse reactions are taking place with equal rate, so that I cannot get the product by means of forward reaction. At the same time, I cannot get the reactants by means of backward reaction. So product and the reactant will not be obtained once equilibrium is reached. So this is very important condition in a chemical reaction. This is common when we prepare any substance in the laboratory. So if equilibrium is reached means we will have only a mixture. It is called equilibrium mixture. So if the reversible process reaches equilibrium, we will not have 100% product, we will not get 100% reactant. We will have only a mixture. So this is called equilibrium mixture, which contains both reactant as well as product. Okay. So the equilibrium is always dynamic in nature. This is very important to mark. So what is the nature of equilibrium? Always equilibrium is dynamic. It is not in rest. Okay. Rate of forward reaction and rate of reverse reactions are equal. The reaction takes place continuously. Okay, so both forward and reverse reactions are taking place simultaneously and continuously. There is no end for the reaction. Okay. Reactants are producing the product. Product is also producing the reactant. Equal rate. So we will not get reactant, product, reaction will not end. So this is dynamic in nature. So what is the nature of equilibrium? Always this is a dynamic, because once equilibrium is reached, rate of forward reaction and rate of reverse reactions are equal. So both forward and reverse reactions are taking place simultaneously and endlessly with the equal rate, so that equilibrium is called a dynamic. This is nature of equilibrium. So these are all the basic aspects regarding the equilibrium. So what is the importance of equilibrium? Importance of equilibrium is very important. Once equilibrium is reached, we have to make some changes in the equilibrium condition. Then only we will get either product or reactant. So if I would like to get ammonia, I have to make some changes in the condition. So I can change temperature or pressure, or I can add a catalyst, or I can change the concentration. So I have to do something to get desired product. So once equilibrium is reached, means the equilibrium should be shifted towards any one side. So equilibrium is very important. Okay. So all these basics we have completed. Next one, physical equilibrium. So today we complete physical equilibrium. So I said the physical change is a physical transformation. Consider a solid which is changed into a liquid by melting, and it is a reversible process also. By freezing, liquid becomes solid. Example, water. So ice will melt to produce liquid water. Liquid water freezes to provide solid water, ice. So this is a physical transformation. So in this physical transformation, we call physical equilibrium. So physical equilibrium, two more questions. It means amount of substance in both the physical states will be equal. So we have a reversible physical process. So in a reversible physical process, if amount of substance equal in both the physical states, means we call the physical transformation is in equilibrium. When we can say this transformation is in equilibrium, this reversible physical process is in equilibrium, amount of substance should be equal. For example, 1 mole water molecules. 1 mole means how much? 6.023 and 10 power 23 water molecules. When we take ice, quantity of substance or amount of substance 1 mole. And due to melting, it becomes liquid water. In liquid water also, you will have the same 1 mole substance. This is forward process. Next, backward process. You just cool the liquid water, freezing. During the freezing also, 1 mole water molecules will be present in the liquid water as well as ice. So what is physical equilibrium? If amount of substance is equal in both the physical states during the transformation, we call the equilibrium as a physical equilibrium. Right? So during this physical transformation, forward process is melting. So rate of melting. Backward process is freezing. Rate of freezing. So equilibrium is nothing but rate of forward and reverse process are equal. So always rate of melting will be equal to the rate of freezing for the transformation of what? Solid into vapor as well as solid into liquid and liquid into solid. Then this physical transformation is taking place at one particular temperature. So this is temperature dependent. Okay. So when we change the temperature, pressure, concentration, equilibrium will be disturbed. So during this physical transformation, equilibrium is reached. The equilibrium is reaching at one particular temperature. The temperature is called what? Melting point or freezing point. Okay. So the temperature at which equilibrium is reached in the physical transformation of solid into liquid, we call this as melting point or freezing point. So this is first type of physical equilibrium. Equilibrium exists between the solid and liquid physical states. Second one, equilibrium exists between the physical transformation of liquid into vapor. So liquid boils to produce vapors. We take same liquid water. When it boils, it becomes water vapors. Steam. Okay. So exactly at 373 Kelvin or 100 degrees Celsius, there will be a conversion of liquid water into water vapors. Then what about a melting point and freezing point of ice as well as liquid water? Melting point of ice 0 degrees Celsius or 273 Kelvin. Freezing point of liquid water 273 Kelvin or 0 degrees Celsius. The same way, what is the boiling point of water, liquid water? 100 degrees Celsius or 373 Kelvin. When water vapors are condensed, it becomes liquid water. So the process is called the condensation. So the temperature is called the condensation point. Okay. So boiling point and the condensation point. So we consider the physical transformation of a substance from liquid into vapor. Example, water molecule. Liquid water is changed into water vapors at 373 Kelvin. Forward process. What is the backward process? When we cool this, that means when it is condensed, it provides a liquid water. So rate of boiling is equal to rate of condensation. Rate of forward and reverse process are equal. So equilibrium is reached during this physical transformation in this reversible process. It is called the physical equilibrium at liquid vapor transformation. So at one particular temperature, equilibrium is reached. We call it as boiling point of liquid water, condensation point of vapor. Okay. So this is second physical equilibrium. Third one, some substances can be directly converted from solid into vapor. The process is called a sublimation process, right? For example, iodine gas. So when solid iodine is heated, it becomes iodine vapors. So instead of iodine, we can take camphor or ammonium chloride, any other substance can be taken. So when this substance is heated directly, which is changed into vapor. So equilibrium will be reached during this physical transformation of a substance from solid into vapor. Right? So here, rate of sublimation, forward reaction is sublimation, conversion of solid into gas directly. Reverse process, condensation. So rate of forward and the reverse process will be equal. So this is third type of physical equilibrium. Fourth type of physical equilibrium is dissolution process. Dissolution. A dissolution means dissolving a solid or gas and liquid. So a solid can be dissolved in a liquid, it becomes solution. So if you take sodium chloride, When sodium chloride salt is added in water, it becomes sodium chloride solution. So this is a physical transformation. So equilibrium can be reached in this dissolution process also. Forward process is dissolution process. We are dissolving a solid in a water, we are getting a solution. Amount of substance will be same. Amount of sodium chloride in solid state will be equal to the amount of sodium chloride in the solution. So this is a physical equilibrium. Forward process is a dissolution process. So rate of dissolution of solute is equal to rate of crystallization. What is the backward process? Crystallization. We cool the solution, right? Or else we just evaporate the water. We get sodium chloride. Okay. So usually when we cool this, sodium chloride crystal will be settled at the bottom. So this is called the crystallization process. So dissolution is the process of adding a substance in liquid. For example, solid can be added in liquid. We get a solution. Amount of substance will be equal in both the physical states. So this is a physical equilibrium. Rate of dissolution of solute is equal to the rate of crystallization. So instead of solid, we can dissolve gas also. Gas can also be dissolved in water or any solvent to get solution. For example, carbon dioxide gas. So it will become carbonic acid. Okay, usually this will become carbonic acid. Soda water, right? When carbon dioxide is dissolved in water, we get carbonic acid, liquid. So carbon dioxide will be present in the form of carbonic acid liquid. So during this dissolution process, equilibrium will be reached. Amount of carbon dioxide gas will be equal in both these two states. In solution form as well as in the gaseous form, amount of substance will be equal. So this is physical equilibrium. So totally we have completed 5. Okay. Solid into liquid, liquid into vapor, solid into vapor, dissolution of solute in solvent, dissolution of gas in a solvent. Okay. So 5 physical equilibriums we have completed. Tomorrow we start chemical equilibrium, different types of chemical equilibrium. Okay, thank you.